For this lecture, we're going to review some of the best practices of peer-to-peer lending and the criteria. This is some typical criteria for peer-to-peer lending platforms like Prosper and Lending Club and others. Most of them, especially if they're domiciled in the United States, obviously, it's going to require you to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, validate who you are through a bank account. They do check credit scores as a way to understand the credit worthiness of the borrower. We've seen minimum FICO scores in the past of 620. They're also going to look for debt-to-income ratios. We've seen in the past minimum debt-to-income ratios of 30%. We hate to speak with a lot of clarity here because these things change, and so it's very important, no matter what platform you're looking at, that as you go through the process that you understand what they're looking for and if you meet those criteria. Most of them are in the $1,000 to $35,000 range. Several of them had it under $1,000, but over the last year or two, the minimum loan size has been bumped up. And on average, the numbers can be all over the board, but typical interest rates will range 7 to 30%, with an average interest rate around 12%. That's probably come down a little bit over the last year or two with the compression in interest rates. But these are unsecured loans, so you're going to be looking at loans that are probably in the ballpark of credit cards, and hopefully several percentage points below what you'd be able to get on a credit card. When you're building your profiles on any of the peer-to-peer lending platforms, there's two critical components to keep in mind. Number one, create trust. Number two, create an emotional hook. Trust and emotion make money move. And so it's very important that you use things like high-quality pictures, whether it's a profile picture or pictures of your product if you have the ability to load additional pictures. And it's very important to use headlines to demonstrate personal passions. If you're getting money because you want to buy some cats and dogs and to start a new rescue shelter or something like that, use the headlines and using the descriptions to really speak to that, because that increases the chances that you're going to get someone that lends to you and does so at a much lower interest rate because they believe in your passion, they believe in your mission and your vision, and that's what really helps money move. So make sure you describe all your capabilities, do everything possible to best position yourself. Because keep in mind, people invest in people. And so even if the loan is maybe tied to a business, really keep this on a personal note to the extent that it makes sense. And then finally, be specific on the use of money. If you're borrowing $2,000, don't just say that it's for general purposes. Tell them that you've got 5 cats you want to rescue, 2 dogs, and a pet lizard that somebody's got to get rid of. But be very specific on the money, because then people can imagine what that money is going to go for, and once again, that's going to help people financially support you. So really invest the time to make the right impressions. We need to really point out that if you are in a startup and there's no cash flow, positive cash flows on the horizon, you have to really be careful with taking loans. I don't care if it's peer-to-peer loans or a bank loan, but anything that's going to require a repayment can be a very difficult situation for a business or a project that doesn't have positive cash flows on the horizon. If you do need a bridge loan for a short period of time to cover operating costs, peer-to-peer lending can be utilized and could be a very nice solution. So if you are an early stage company, think about how peer-to-peer lending sites could be used strategically, such as the opportunity to build recognition, build rapport, because This could be a way for you to attract new followers, friends, and fans to your business. But the punchline here is if cash flows are unknown, and don't forget this is a loan, so it needs to be repaid, otherwise it's going to ding your credit, no different than not paying for a mortgage or a credit card or a car payment. You really need to find funds elsewhere, like getting in equity investors, if you don't know what your cash flows would be and your ability to repay. So keep this in mind, that peer-to-peer lending is nothing fancy or a magic bullet. It's still a loan, and it's very important that it gets treated that way.